Hello, and welcome to Groundtech Detector. I'm Furkan. In this video, we will show the G-Portal application of the A2 series on the camera. We will be showing you the two cameras together, with the camera from the opposite angle filming us, and the other camera, our tablet, recording the screen. First of all, we connected the Groundtech A2-GEO right here in the application. But if you're not connected, the Add Device section will appear here, or you can press the plus button here and perform the Bluetooth scan from here. From here, you can find A2-GEO and launch it. It's connected to Bluetooth now. After connecting, I press Start here, and it activates directly. Let's see our menu. We can see the 3D scan, we can see the live scan, resistivity and the detector mode is here also. I went to the home page section on the bottom left. Here we can adjust the volume. We can decrease and increase. We can also adjust the light. There's a cloud symbol here. We use the cloud icon to retrieve files that we have saved in the device's memory. So if we press the cloud icon, we will see that the images stored in the device's memory will be on the screen and memory of our tablet, and we can simply examine it. Here we have the Bluetooth icon. There are language options right here where it says TR. If we click here, we can see the language options. Our device is currently in TR as we use it as TR in Turkey. If we click the application button in the center, with our sensor attached, 3D scan and live scan modes there can be used while our sensor is attached. If we want to work faster, when we click scan, it automatically transfers you quickly to this mode while the sensor is attached. So it will guide you to 3D scan. I select it automatically. From here, you set the right start, zigzag, parallel. I set my width by height to 5 by 5. If I set starting scanning from here, I immediately go to the beginning of where I'm going to scan, and my device starts automatically scanning. It scans at every step. After scanning line is finished, after I'm done with the scannings, and after you start a new line, click Start. After you start, you continue with scanning the new line. When it is done, we're continuing to line 3. I click Start on the third scan, and it performs the scan of the third line step by step. Line 3 is finished. We're on our fourth line. From here, I click Start and start scanning my fourth line. After finishing our fourth line, we are continuing with our fifth line, which is the last line of the scanning and also the shooting. And I'll start it. Here the device automatically receives our data with a step-by-step start. After we've received our data, there's an icon that says completed. Right next to it, we have an icon called Save. If we click the Save button, we can name the middle area if we want. So let's give this place a name. Let's just call it as Attempt 3. There may be more than one attempt. I'm approving it. I've saved it as Attempt 3. It registers that right now. It is done. Where does it record? It immediately saves your footage in the File section. You can review and analyze your footage in the File section. Now I click the Center button. After clicking the detector icon in the center, we have automatically done the 3D scan automatically from here. This scan mode is the same as the 3D scan mode. It's only convenient if you want to switch quickly. From here, I switch to live scan mode. There are two modes in the live scan mode. Live scan and pinpointer modes are there. I'm switching to live scan mode. After switching to live scan mode, we can calibrate our device here if you want. If we want, we can calibrate our device with the reset button at the bottom. Now let me hold metal to our device. It gives a red output. I'm hiding the metal. Let me reset and save that. Now I'm holding the cavity side. You will see this as blue for cavities. I will project to the screen. I'll project my tablet's blue screen. Blue means there is cavity. Now I'm calibrating again. According to the color transitions here, you can now tell whether what you see here is a metal, cavity, or normal soil. I'm coming back from here. I click on Live Scan again, and from here I switch to pinpointer mode. After switching to pinpointer mode, we can calibrate our device here too. We can calibrate it from here if we want. I'm bringing it closer again. In pinpointer mode towards the cavity side, as you can see on the screen right now, it is in the 90s and it is working very clearly. When it is metal, it goes to the opposite direction. I mean, to the other direction. In other words, we can easily see our metal and cavity values here. Let me go back. We have seen the live scan. We've seen 3D scanning. We've seen pinpointer mode. These were the modes we can use with a sensor. If we want to switch to the detector mode or resistivity, we plug in the resistivity cables. When we want to switch to detector mode, we have to attach the detector search coil. We will now attach the detector search coil to the device and then continue with our video. Now we attach our detector search coil to our device and continue again. After attaching our detector head, I switch to detector mode here. Here, there are 3 scanning modes: advanced scanning, 3D scanning, and pinpointer modes. First, I switch to advanced scanning mode by clicking here. We are now in advanced scanning mode. We can either calibrate it from here or we can calibrate it from this area we see on the screen. When we bring a metal closer to our device, it is a gold by the way, and the device in that mode, it identifies this as non-ferrous, and you can see red on the screen. Now I'll show a worthless metal here. The worthless metal is also identified as iron. You can also see the color red. This is how you use it. I'm going back from here, switching back to detector mode. One of the most important features here is the 3D scanning of the detector. In other words, we could perform 3D scanning in our detector like a normal sensor. To do this quickly, we choose automatic mode, which is easy and practical. From here, I make our width 5 by 5 and our height 5. After adjusting it 5 by 5, you can make your direction parallel to the right or zigzag. That's not a problem. After clicking Start, our device goes on the line and starts scanning automatically. One of the most important features here is that it can also detect new metals. Now we finished the first line. It's asking if you want to start the second line. I click Start. I'm bringing this metal closer. Then it finished. I'm starting. I'm beginning my other line. I'm stopping. I'm starting again. I'm moving to the next line. It finished. I'm starting again. It is time for our last line. It's scanning our last line. We click the Save button here. We can name it here if we want, or we can click Save directly. If we click Save directly, it transfers our data here and we can see our data here. You can view it in 3D Grafik. It has already shown the metal very clearly. I'm clicking here to return to the normal top view. I'm clicking the settings. When I select data, I can see very clearly the difference between the blue value and the red value here. So I can see very clearly that this area is metal. If we click on the grid, the wire grid, this is the image you get here. If you click on the wire grid again, right here, it will return to its original view. If you click the other grid, it will remove the grid here. If you click again, it adds the grid back. Here we have an area called measurement mode. In measurement mode, we're actually measuring diameter here. When measuring the diameter, we place markers from one point to another. So I'm actually placing a marker at one point on the metal and then at the end point on the bottom. Or you can do this from left to right. It gives the length of the metal here. In other words, it shows you the length and size of the start and end points. For example, here it shows 1 meter. I've already done about 3 frames. 30 centimeters times 3 makes about 90 centimeters. It calculates the depth very clearly. I'm exiting the measurement mode here and going back. Yes, let's see how to read data from files. and what we can do with the data. We have a sample metal image here. This is a normal image taken with an MFN sensor. I'm opening the image from here. After we open the image, our image is processed and appears. Yes, this is our image. If we want, we can rotate it from bottom to top as a 3D image like this. We can enlarge and enhance it. When we want to get the top view, we click here and get the top view again. If we want to enter numerical values here, we go to the settings section and select data. When we go into the data, you need to know that green areas are reference values for us. Green areas indicate unexcavated soil. If there's a difference of 15 units between the red area and the green area, it can be considered valuable metal. We say it's metal. But if this is the case in here, if it increases by 20 units, 30 units, 40 units, or even more, it means there's a worthless metal here. So we can see very clearly in the images that the red dot you see right now is a worthless metal. We can change the graphic color here if we want. We can use this color that's called warm, this color that's called cold, or this color that's called gray. But worldwide, the default color scale would be red, green, yellow, and blue. And they are typically used. You can remove the grids from here or add them if you want. When you switch to the wire grid, you can view and analyze the image in wire grid form here. I'm clicking here again. When I click on the wire grid section in the settings section, it removes the top view by returning to the wire grid. I'm going to the filter section here. When I select color filter here, an area immediately opens up at the bottom related to the color filter. When I remove the red area from here, I can see that the metal area has formed. I'm putting the red area back, and that's it. If I remove the green area from here, I can clearly reveal the exact shape of the metal. And when I remove the blue, I can remove the blue area from the image on the screen and see its shape. Now let's look at the depth calculation. We calculate the depth as follows. We enter the depth measurement area right above, and we look at the overall depth. When we get to the overall depth, we rotate the image like this, from the bottom, from the side, upwards. The bottom here shows 13.80, which is the depth view. When we move the bar up and down here, we can clearly see that this is the overall depth. Let's look at it this way. Look, you can clearly get the depth here by zooming in and out on the overall depth. From here we go to the depth analysis section in the depth area. When we come to the depth analysis section, there's a soil selection section that opens at the bottom. You can select the soil type here and get your depth measurement. How will this work? I'm saying this area is rocky. I'm closing it immediately by clicking the X here. I got the top view. You need to touch the point where you want to measure the depth. It tells you the depth of each point you've touched right at the bottom. I'm clicking here. It says the depth is 2.2 meters. It says this point is at 2.2 meters. Look, it's giving all of these as 2.2 meters. It is given the depth clearly. When I click elsewhere in a green area, it gives 0.20 centimeters, which is the surface of the soil. But when I come back here and click the red dot, it gives us a depth of 2.2 meters. When we click on depth again, we can enter the measurement mode here. We use the measurement mode like this. In measurement mode, we're measuring diameter. We're actually measuring size, not diameter. I put a dot at one end of the red area. I put a dot at the other end. It calculates the length between the two endpoints for me. It tells us that the distance between the 2 points here is 1.16 meters. So it's saying it's 116 centimeters. Now the last point I'll show in the depth section is a feature we have called Smart Scan Analysis. I'm switching to Smart Scan Analysis here, and a Start button appears at the bottom. When I click Start, it's now analyzing the Smart Scan. It's analyzing the Smart Scan, and here it immediately gives a warning that the scan is carried out in an area with normal soil structure. So actually, before making the soil selection in the depth analysis here, if you like, you can click to the Smart Scan Analysis. And after it analyzes what kind of soil type you worked on from the measured values, you can use the soil values by entering the soil analysis. You can enable or disable the location where you took the scan. However, when it's on, the location information is displayed here to help you find the location where you were shooting. If you click the location icon above, the device can show you the exact spot where you took the shot. But as I mentioned, you can also turn off this location feature. Now I'm going back to the images. If you want to share an image you've taken with someone, click the share icon here. You can share your images with anyone you want via WhatsApp or any other platform. When we click this icon, we can name the file or delete it using the icon on the far right. I'm going back from here. Let's examine the cavity image. I'm opening it. An image of a cavity is now opening. Let's also examine the numerical values on this image. Let's see what values they've provided. This is an image of a cavity. Here I'm selecting settings again and then data. I can see the cavity very clearly. If I want to measure depth here, I go to depth. I select depth analysis from here. Based on where I've been, I'm choosing the soil type as rocky here. I touch the point where I want to calculate. It says it's at 2.8 meters. You touch the point you want, and the depth of that point can be seen right below the depth analysis heading. From the filter section, by clicking the color filter here, blue, we'll click on the color filter right now. Just a second. I can remove the blue from here by clicking on the color filter. I can see very clearly here how blue represents the cavity. I'm going back here again. We put the blue back. When analyzing the image, here's the situation. I'm opening the metal scan. You can see it in 3D here. You can zoom in and out. After clicking on top view, there's a 3D section here. You click here. When I turn it to the side, you see that the metals are upwards and the cavity is downwards. And on the side, you can see the magnetic density, the highest and lowest density in the soil. This is a different 3D visualization system. This is the base. I'm clicking on the control memory here. You can analyze with the lines here. They show the density and diameter of your metal object. This is one such analysis and display system. Right above this back button, there's a moon icon. When you click this, a different color. If you click this, another color appears. Here you can use it in night mode or day mode as you prefer. Now, our image interpretations were like this. In the file section, we have a section called automatic backup at the top. If we turn on this automatic backup, let's say you have a phone, and you lost or broke your phone. You bought a new phone, a new device. If you turn on automatic backup, your data from your old phone or device will automatically be saved to your new device. It will save that to the cloud. And through this cloud, you can see your images again on your new device. Now we've seen the home page here. These are the things on our home page. Scanning is there and menu is there. We've seen the file section from here. We've seen image analysis. When we click the menu from here, there are not Bluetooth but devices. When we click on devices, you can delete the found device from here if you wish. You can go back if you want. So you have more than one option, just so you know. From here you can find the license, about us, help, privacy policy, terms and conditions. You can see dark mode active or off here. Thank you for watching us. Hope to see you in the next video. Goodbye.